Thank you all for, where are we here? Time in the program for the one that so many of us have been waiting for. And to introduce it to you is past President Carroll Agee. Carl?
So please join me in welcoming to the Rotary Club of Seattle the new coach of the Seattle Seahawks, Pete Carroll.
Okay. Thank you, Carl. God, I'm fired up to be here today. Wow. I mean, you know, I thought about you, the oldest Rotary group, and that's great. Number one there. We're number four, right? We're number four. And but we're the largest. Is that what we are here? The largest. Okay. Well, so we're number one in size. But how can we climb up the rankings here in this fourth thing? I don't understand how we can do that. There must be a way somewhere in here. I'm not sure. God, I'm really fired up to be here. I'm telling you, I come in here and first thing I do, I shake hands with Phil Smart. Phil says, I've been here for 90 years. He says, I've been holding my breath for a championship. I said, what are you going to do about it, you know? I said, I know I'm putting the pressure on you, but what are you going to do about it, you know? And I said, well, I just talked to Harvey Oster out here, and he's about 114 or something. And Harvey said, just do well, coach. You'll be okay around here. So I'm going with Harvey here. I appreciate it. So he trumped you there, Phil. But then again, I thought about it. I said, why not promise a championship? Why not? This area deserves it. You have great following, great fanship. I mean, Sark's got to deliver. I mean, what are we going to say? Come on. Yeah. I know, Carl. I heard about all the 97 whatevers and the championships and all that. We couldn't even beat the Huskies last year. God dang. I give it to you. I got to take it. Whatever you do for the guys that you love, you know. I had to help Sark out getting started here, so kills me. I'm really thrilled to be here. I noticed that Lou Tice and Diane Tice are here from the Pacific Institute here. When we started A Better LA years ago, it was Lou and I got on the phone one morning, and we had said we were always going to do something and make an effort to help somewhere in the world, somewhere. And so many things had happened in LA in this sequence of a few days. Kids were being killed one right after another, and 11 kids died between Monday and Thursday in this one particular week. And I called Lou up. I said, Lou, I know what we got to do. We got to do something here and save some kids. And he said, I'm in. And so from then, which was a number of years ago, we created A Better LA together, and we're really thrilled about it. So it's great to have you here. I know you're a big guy in the community here. So let me say this. We could talk about a lot of stuff. We could talk about some corporate tie-ins between what we do in our game, and we could talk about community work. But don't you really want to talk about football? Yeah. Okay. Well, I thought so. Let me say a couple things. This is an extraordinary opportunity for me and my family to come here and to join into your community and to take the reins of this organization from the top on down, from Paul Allen and Todd Lewicki, who had a vision of what they wanted to create and what they wanted to do, and they gave me an opportunity to do this. It was structured in such a manner that I could not turn it down. I came from a great setup in a great place, in a place that I love and will always love, and had done so many fun things and would work in the community and all. But with the opportunity to do it here at the highest level of competition in the world, with the support and also the kind of the freedom that I thought would take to help as much as possible, I'm so grateful to be part of this and so thrilled to be part of this, just your community. To know also that Quest is going to frickin' rock when we get there, golly. And we haven't even been winning, and you guys are nuts about your game. So if we win a few games, then I'll try to contribute to that, okay? So it's a great thrill to be here. And, in doing this, I think it is an interesting kind of a laboratory experiment for you to watch. We inherit 2 years of struggling. Just 2 years before that, a 4-year run of owning the division. We come in here with a simple thought that we need to own the NFC West. That's what we have to do before we become anything, and we set our sights on that. We come in here with a thought that guides us. It really is the one-liner that drives us philosophically in everything that we do, and it's a line that we say that we want to do things better than it's ever been done before in everything that we do. in everything we touch, in every direction, whether it's the coaching on the field or the statistics work we do to support our game planning, whether it's the off-season conditioning or the way we travel or the way we eat. We want to find a way to compete, to do it better than it's ever been done before. And it's a mindset that drives us in all that we stand for. And it's truly a competitor's mindset. It's truly the mindset that only guys that are buying in and driven to compete in a relentless manner can really drive this home. It's exactly what we did in Southern California. There was a time when people said, geez, you can't win anymore. Washington has owned the 90s or whatever it was. No longer can SC be on top. No longer can you win the national championships and have Heisman Trophy winners and all that. And I didn't know. So I said, well, we'll find out. Well, in this situation now, coming in, it has been one that we've all been somewhat disappointed in, but it sets the stage for us to do some marvelous things. And the challenges are great. The division will be challenging. The league is as challenging as it can get. All of the things that we deal with. But I think if we hold on to this mentality that we are in control, we're the ones that command what we're all about, and really people on the outside don't have anything to say about it or do about it, and we hold on to that aspect, I think we can start this thing rolling and get you going with a team that you're going to really be proud of and really be excited about. You might wonder, how do you change this drastically from one year to the next, and how would you go about it? Well, if you use our mentality and utilize how we think, we have to go about every stage that comes our way and do it in extraordinary fashion. So the first meeting that I had with our team and our players was to introduce the off-season program. So I said to them, well, okay, here's our off-season coming up, and we need to have a great off-season. And I said, well, and everybody, you can take that to heart if you want to, but really, let me say it this way. I'm going to challenge you each individually to have the greatest off-season of your life. It's the only off-season that we have. We only have one. We don't have next year's off-season. We have this off-season. And do you really want to have maybe your third best off-season or your fourth best off-season? Or I'm in the top 10 in my all-time off-seasons? Or do you want to have your very best one for yourself, for your family, for your team? So we started off with that challenge and went about it with our new strength and conditioning program, and we've been wearing our guys out and working them and tailoring the workouts to fit them. The guys have responded in great fashion. They're attending in full force throughout the program that we've initiated. It's been different and styled in a way that they haven't been accustomed to, but they bought into that. We went to our first mini camp, which was a voluntary mini camp, and met with our guys again. I said, okay, up to this point, we've had extraordinary work. You guys have actually just absolutely kicked butt to get to this point, and we're going to prove it to you. When we go through these practices, you're not going to be sore. You're going to feel good. You're going to be in shape. You're going to be ready to play the game and not be looking and ducking and dodging because you're not feeling right. And in that, with this first mini camp, we only have one shot at the first day. Let's make it the best first day of mini camp in the history of the NFL. And they look at me like, oh, how do you equate that? I said, well, I don't know. I don't have any idea. That's not what's important, fellas. Let's set about our minds on making it a great first day. Everybody's working. You know where you're going. We've walked through how we're going to practice. The coaches have had practice sessions where they're going to be and how the whole thing is going to be orchestrated in a disciplined fashion so that we can just make every second count on the practice field, and away we go. We went out and had a great first day. Came back, challenged them. Okay, the first day's already gone. What are you going to do about the second day? If we're going to do this right, we're going to have the best mini camp in the history of the NFL. We got to go ahead and do this again today. And make day number 2, boom, we went about it, had 2 great days. Then we're in the third day. It's time to learn how to finish, fellas. First chance we have as a program to learn how to finish. You do things better than your opponents, longer, and outlast them, so that you execute well past where they're capable of doing it. You finish better than the other guy. That's what we have to do today. We had to kick butt 3 days. Guys felt good about it. They understood that they were in good shape. Nobody got hurt. We felt good about our work. We learned. We executed. The quarterbacks did great. And we put our first big event behind us. We're underway. This is how you change it. One step at a time, you do things really well. You give everything you got to it. You take every opportunity, you squeeze every drop of every chance you got to make it the very best. And then we go to the next phase. The next phase was go back in the off season, and here comes the draft. Draft went pretty good, didn't it? Yeah, it did. Yeah. Draft went pretty good. So when we're coming up to the next minicamp, fellas, we said we're going to have the greatest offseason of our life. You're underway. You said we need to have the best minicamp anybody's ever had in the history of football. They didn't ask the question, well, how do you tell that this time? They didn't. They forgot about that because they were kind of liking what they were hearing. How are we doing the draft, fellas? Yeah, Coach, the draft was great. Okay, there's 3 stages of it. Next stage is the mandatory minicamp coming up right after. We just finished it last weekend. God, our guys were on it. We had 102 kids in, more than they had in years here at a Seahawks camp, to just get as much information as we could on as many players as possible, stick our rooks right up to the front, all our new players, and see what they could do and find out where they fit into it. And one day, after the next day, to the third day, we had great work. Guys were in it, feeling terrific about themselves. So when that minicamp was over, we went from the off-season challenge, first minicamp, draft, mandatory minicamp. Where are we now? Who's in control of it, by the way? Our players have decided they're going to make every single bit out of every opportunity they have. That's how you change. That's a way that you can take, whether it's an organization or a team or a family or whatever, you take your stages of opportunities on one at a time. Don't focus on anything beyond it. You live right in the moment, dig into it, and make it the very best possible. And then you come out of it and you look back and you acknowledge the fact of what you've accomplished. If we don't make note of the fact that we did some really cool things here along the way in these first couple months, it isn't going to be that powerful for us. It isn't going to be that meaningful for us. But as we acknowledge it and they start to own it, and I convince them, look how far we've come, look what we know, look what we're doing, look how well we're executing here and there, and prove it to them. Not making anything up, just showing them the truth. It's uplifting. It's empowering. They're the ones that are controlling it. And we will be the ones that will take this as far as we're capable of going when we get to this season coming up. I have no idea how many games we're going to win. I don't have a clue. Right? But I do know that if we perform at the very best of our ability and we take advantage of everything along the way, we're going to be pretty hard to beat. We'll be pretty darn hard to beat. So that's how we've gone about setting this thing in motion. And we've held the highest of expectations in the performance of the coaches, in the performance of the administration, to back everything up, to get us right. And then came along a guy named John Schneider, took us to the draft. I hope that you'll get to know John in the months and the years ahead to understand how special a guy he is. John and I needed to come together from the day we got here. So as we moved in, our families were at home, and his family back in Green Bay, and my family down in Southern California. We just started kind of living together, sleeping on the couches up there in the office and eating together and getting up in the morning and watching film. And we've come so closely together so quickly that it's given us a chance to really take the direction of this thing and move it to the best of our abilities. And again, how far that goes, we don't know. But we're connected, and we have a real sense for where we can go with this as we do it together. So all of that combined, that's why I'm so fired up. You know, I couldn't be more excited about what's going on. So I convey that to you, and some of my advisors would say, well, don't get him too pumped up. I didn't say how many games we're going to win, did I? No, I didn't say that. But get pumped up, you know, let's go. I want you to know that you can follow us and stay with us and be closer to us maybe than you've been before. I know there's, I'm sure, a number of season ticket holders, and we have opportunities to get you closer to our football. But when camp comes up and those days are open, come on out and check us out. I would love for you to come watch us and see how we practice and see the energy that is involved. See, if you're going to do things better than it's ever been done before, you got to be the best practicing football team in the world. That's okay with me. I don't mind saying that to you. That's what we're endeavoring to do. Practice faster, more efficiently, more to the point, contingency-oriented, on and on and on. It's such a level that our preparation has to be at least better than the guys we're going against. I don't know how far I can go out there. That's how we look at it. And I'd like to share that with you. I'd like you to come see it and watch it so that you can see what it's like. It is what we did at USC, and I was challenged numerous times. Why would you ever invite people to practice? Why would you open up your doors to them? And why would you allow them to come too? Because it's important to share the message so that you can champion what we're all about. You can feel us and sense us. We need you guys too. This isn't just us playing. It's Quest that gets cranking. It's the whole community that follows us. It's the whole energy that supports what we're all about that gives us a chance to be what we are. And so I want you to get closer to it. So as we give you those opportunities to come, I sure hope you will. Bring your kids out, and little grandkids and all that kind of stuff, and come on and have some fun and watch us. And we'll have special days for you to be involved and start to connect with us even more so than you have. This is a marvelous community. You guys got something special going. When you go to the Huskies games, that stadium, as it is, shouldn't be as loud as it is. It shouldn't be as difficult to play in because it's so far away, the track and all that, but it rocks. And it's the heart of the fans that support your teams here. And it's the Sounders. Look what they're doing. They're going crazy. It's a crazy organization, so fast to race to the top and doing what they're doing and all. But it's the heart of this community. And so I'm just kind of to finish this, I'm thrilled about being part of it. I'm thrilled to be part of representing you guys. And don't think for a second we aren't going to fight like crazy to give you everything that you want. We want to kick butt. We want to win this division. We want to get this thing rolling and see how far we can take it as soon as we can. So that's why I'm fired up to be here, first off. So with that, I wanted to just cover a little bit about the draft. I thought you guys might like to know a little bit about the players that are coming in and what's happened. And also, I'll get done here in just a couple minutes. And if you have some questions that you want to ask, it's really easy to stump the coach. So you can ask whatever you want here. We went into the draft with a tremendous opportunity. So the 6th pick and the 14th pick, you got to have a good draft if you do your homework at all. And fortunately, we maybe even exceeded what we had hoped to do. We had to find a left tackle. We had to replace Walter, who was taken off. Walter had an extraordinary career, and I know you all loved him. You've known him a lot more closely than I have. But what an icon in this program. But he's gone, so we had to figure out a way. And right there in that 6th pick, Washington sitting there with the safety and the tackle, in the back of which way is it going to go? Which way is it going to go? Was it Washington or Kansas City? Eric Berry went to Kansas City, and they make their choice and give us our opportunity to get Russell Okung. Just a fantastic kid. This kid loves the game. It's the most important thing in the world to him. He's got his world in order. He graduated early. He took care of business. He takes care of his family and his mom and the whole thing. Just a marvelous kid to get in the program. If you noticed, one of the moves that we made just before the draft was to get Ben Hamilton. Did you watch that one? Ben Hamilton was the guy who worked with our line coaches at Denver to bring him in to help bring Russell along so that Russell could now not have to think of all of the things he has to do. Ben would tell him. And then he'd go do it. So that was a really well orchestrated little move right there, I think, that came together beautifully for us, and getting Russell made a big deal. The next pick for us was to get a shot. This number 14 pick was one that could have gone in numbers of ways. We thought we needed tremendous help immediately to help us in the secondary, and knowing that Eric Berry was one of the choices there, and then Earl Thomas was one of the choices. If you remember in the draft, Philadelphia traded right before us. They traded up in the draft to get the position before us, and we thought for sure they're going to take Earl. He's fallen all the way to us. We got a shot at him, and doggone it, they took Brandon, whatever his name, the guy from Michigan, and they take a defensive end. The room goes crazy. We explode. We're so fired up because we're going to get a chance to get Earl Thomas, a fantastically competitive kid. Hard-driven, left school early because he needs to help his mom and dad because they don't have a house because they lost it in Katrina. They've been living with the relatives. I mean, the whole thing just is driven, marvelously competitive, beautiful athlete that comes to us in the first 2 picks, and we're rolling. From there, we had a guy in the first round that we wanted so badly. We thought he would be a great player, but we weren't going to get a chance to pick him. And as we watched the draft come down, Golden Tate is still alive, and he's still alive, and he's still alive. Now, I don't know how much you've watched him. I think Notre Dame did play up here and played Washington. You might have seen him. But we played against him a couple times at SC, watched every one of his games, knew him like he was one of our own, and just hoped we could get him in the program. And he comes to us, in our minds, like another first-round pick. So that was a great deal for us to get Golden, and then the draft was underway. So I think that you'll see that we don't pick the best player available. John and I are kind of combined on that one. We won't tell you that. We're going to pick the best guy available for what we need, and there's a difference there. And most guys are kind of afraid to say that, but that's what we do. And so it hit just right. We needed help on the offense to score some touchdowns. We needed help at the offensive tackle spot, obviously, and we needed help in the secondary, so bang, bang. We also got another really interesting kid in Cam Chancellor from Virginia Tech. He's 6'3", 230-something pounds, and an unbelievably good kid, and looked terrific in minicamp to also help us in the secondary, as well as Walter Thurman from Oregon, corner, who's, again, a very, very highly regarded player that had a terrible knee injury that is coming back and is going to get back and be right. It's just going to take some time, and his value dropped. Boy, we nailed him too, and he's a terrific punt returner. So we really got some exciting things going. Probably the best part of it really was to see John work and get it done in the middle of the draft to get us a couple other players through trades. That we were willing to shift some positions in the draft to get some players. Leon Washington, wait till you see Leon Washington. If you haven't watched this kid play, he was carrying the Jets early in the year as a running back. He is a marvelous kid, marvelous leader. He's got tremendous moves and the kind of shake and bake and make you miss kind of moves that's going to light up our stadium. It's going to be really exciting to go along with Julius and Justin Forsett. Also, to hit the big kid, Lendale White, the guy that we had at SC, in a trade that also got us Kevin Vickerson, who's a big defensive tackle that we needed desperately to help us inside and give us some depth and competitive aspect there. Those were all elements that added to the draft that when you put it all together, it was a very, very good day for us. Now, we have to make all that come to life. We have to make those guys get to the point where they understand their football and they can contribute to us. But it gave us a boost as we went back from the first minicamp to the second minicamp that was obvious. And so we're very thrilled about it. Mentioned two other ones. Charlie Whitehurst is a guy that you might have questioned and wondered, what in the heck's going on? What are they thinking here, Well, John had seen him work out. John Snyder had seen him work out as a junior, thrown to a guy that was coming out in the draft at Clemson. He was the quarterback that stood in for him in a rainstorm in South Carolina, and saw him throw the ball over the field, and it kind of caught his eye. Watched him through his career at Clemson. He's a very good athlete. He's got a big arm. He's 6'4", and he's quick and runs real fast. A kid that sat in behind the program at San Diego, learning football, understanding the game, sent every play in to Rivers at San Diego for 4 years he was there, really immersed in the game, and we get that guy coming to us as in place of what would have been like a second-round pick in the draft. We think that was a fantastic draft pick for us. Charlie has done a great job so far. He's been in the program now for a couple months. He is part of this draft class as well, and so where we needed to find support in the quarterback position, where Matt needed to feel the challenge of a guy who's up and coming to push him, it's worked out really well so far. So hopefully Charlie, who hasn't played a lot in regular season, but we've seen him play for really 4 years in preseason. We've seen a lot of football from him. Will really give us a great boost. So that's kind of the draft wrap-up for you. And I know if you have questions about any of those guys, we can do it. So get ready. Get ready. If anybody's got any Q&A, we got a couple quick ones before it's 1:30. What do you got for me? Yes. That was the second thing I was going to talk about. Yeah, you're right. Good. We love Taylor. Taylor's a great kid. I mean, I had him for 4 years. He started every game but like 2 in 4 years for us. But we had Earl Thomas rated higher. And Earl was such a prolific playmaker. He was the leading pass breakup guy in the country, had 8 interceptions in his redshirt sophomore year, and all of the rest of the things he brought. We just felt like he was the guy that if we had him first, we'd go. We didn't think he'd be there. We quite likely could have had Taylor on a roster right there at the 14th spot. That's how coveted we held him. But as it turned out, what the NFL tells you is the truth. They tell you the truth. You can say, well, I should have been this, I should have been that. Well, what you are is where they picked you. And that's the reality of it. And whether you like it or not, that's what that's all about. I felt really bad for Taylor because I know he wanted to have a great high position in the draft. And I wanted him to as well. And I love the heck out of him, and he'll be okay. We do play San Francisco in the first game. I think Taylor's going to be pretty jacked up. Yeah, here we go.
Historically, winning pro teams have a franchise quarterback. Who's our franchise quarterback?
That's a good observation because you're right about that. Our franchise quarterback is really Matt. Matt is our guy. Matt has established himself as a terrific kid that can win the games. He knows what's going on. He's got great experience. But Matt's in the competition of his career right now with Charlie Pushdown, which is exactly the best thing we can do to help Matt be the best he can be. We're blessed to have his wherewithal. He's got his health. He looked beautifully conditioned in camp. We really couldn't hope for more from Matt at this point. But the good part about it is, and the central theme in this program is competition. He's getting pushed from Charlie, and that's part of that will bring out the best in Matt as well. But we're very lucky to have him. And we think we have the best quarterback in our division, which is really good. And I know Matt Leinert's down there at Arizona too. A couple more questions.
Yep. Thanks for being here, Coach. Would you make a comment on Coaches Sarkisian and Holt?
Sure. Great. I love Steve Sarkisian. We've worked together. Sark came in as a graduate assistant for us years and years ago, worked his way through it. It was just an absolute quick study in learning everything. He's so natural, so savvy, so competitive. You've already seen him handle himself and how he deals with the challenges of being a major Division I coach. He's just perfectly equipped for it. Nick brings fire and juice and energy in a unique fashion that's exactly what you're looking for in your defensive coordinator. He was our defensive coordinator down there, and I've known Nick since he played. I coached him in college. So, these two guys, they're giving you a great 1-2 punch in the program. And they're practicing well. They look good. I watched them in spring football. They're really going to be good. And they got Jake, Everybody wants Jake, right? So, I think they have a marvelous thing going there, and I think it's going to be really exciting for everybody. So we'll all be rooting for them, I'm for sure. One question I missed there, the answer was about coming back into the league. I wasn't going to get away from that from you. Everything looks different this time around. Everything looks different. It feels like at the league meetings, it felt like, gosh, if I only would have known then what I know now. That's what it felt like. And we don't really get that chance. I feel like I'm getting that chance. And it's to be in this organization with the support, to do things with the freedom that we need to do, because we do things a little differently than other traditional clubs and styles. It's just a marvelous opportunity. And so it just feels different and looks different, and we're having a ball doing it. So, just a different setting. We got one more?
Coach, welcome to Seattle. It's great to have you here. Can you describe your leadership style both as a coach and in the community? What can we expect from you, aside from winning the games?
There you go. Get right at it. What are you going to bring us, What are you... The style that really Lou helped me understand. When Lou and I got together years ago when I was in New York, he saw something and tried to describe it to me. He was trying to tell me what I was doing because I didn't have a clue. I was just doing it. I think that the thing that I do in terms of affecting people around me is empowerment. And I do it in a very simple fashion in that I'm looking for what people have to offer at the very highest end of their abilities and their potential, and then try to make them come to understand that this is where you could go, and then hold them to the vision that we create together, and hold them to the vision of what they could become in a diligent fashion. That's why you coach, to keep them connected with it, knowing that what we focus on, we draw to ourselves. The vision that we hold for ourselves is coming true. I'll give you an example. In the communities of LA, if you talk to the kids that are widely involved with all the craziness that's going on, they'll tell you that I'm either going to jail or I'm going to die. That's their vision. The first couple times I heard that, I really didn't know what to say about that. But after I heard it 4 or 5 times from different kids in different settings, different races, different backgrounds, I said, you're right. That's exactly right. You're going to jail, you're going to die. That's the vision that you hold for yourself. There is no way that you're not going to be successful in fulfilling that vision. The point is to create somebody and help somebody adjust their vision with the vision of hope, the vision of where they could possibly go, and stay with them and support them until they create it and make it come true. It's exactly what we did at USC. It's precisely what we did there, and it's precisely what we're endeavoring to do here, to show our program and our fans how good we could possibly become, and then take it there and not back off until it happens. And I know that there's some powers in the universe, something out there that if you give yourself to your vision and give yourself to your focus, you can't help to see it come to life. So it's our ability to diligently stay in connection with it that makes the difference. So that's what we hope to do in the streets or with our team. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Coach. Coach Carroll, our town is pumped up to have a champion like you to lead our beloved Seahawks to new heights this season. All the people in this room are behind you, and we wish you and the entire team much success. Thanks again to all of today's program participants. Welcome again to Michelle and Christian. Next week, May 12th, we'll hear from Eastern Washington University President Dr. Rodolfo of Arvalo as we honor over 40 winners for life students nominated from Seattle Public High Schools. It's our annual event, always an inspiring one and a memorable program. You know, you heard a little bit ago that past President Carroll is quite a Seahawks fan and never misses a home game. I recently heard that last year, at the last home game of the season, Carl was driving through the parking lot in a sweat because he was late and he didn't want to miss the kickoff. So looking up to heaven, he said, "Lord, take pity on me. If you find me a parking place for this last game, next year I'll go to church every Sunday, home game or no home game." Just then, miraculously, a parking place appeared. Carl looked back up to heaven again and said, "Never mind, I found one." Thanks for being here today. Go Seahawks. Happy Cinco de Mayo. We are adjourned.
Seattle Rotary Online is made possible in part by a grant from First Choice Health, working with the Washington Health Information Collaborative to use technology to bring better health care to patients throughout the Pacific Northwest. First Choice Health.